So Ubisoft finally revealed the new Operation New Blood, and as you can tell by the title of the video, it's a bit disappointing. Not necessarily because of what they did, it's mainly because of what they didn't do, and that's actually added content into this update. Now, to give a little bit of credit, Deimos was the only new content we got in Operation Deadly Omen, but granted, he was an amazing operative. All Ubisoft really did is took the simple concept of Jackal's gadget, put it into Deimos, and somehow make it unique, fun, and viable. Which leads me into the first disappointment of the season, which is the Recruit Remaster. Which, first of all, that name alone is completely misleading. Literally all this new Recruit is the current day Recruit with 2 secondary gadgets, but the difference here is their skins are different, and they have new names. That's it. And they're not even new skins, they're literally just ports from R6 mobiles, which I guess for consistency's sakes, that makes sense, but that still is just kind of lazy. Now, they do have some new weapons on them, like the attacking recruit has the Mavericks M4, and it does come with ACOG like every other attacker, and the defending one has Mozzie's Commando, which is cool and all, but the main issue is that we all thought they were going to get some kind of new gadget because you called it a remaster. And I thought it was going to be similar to the Chonka, where they got a completely new gadget, and that's what we're also expecting with the Blackbeard remaster. So if this is what we're getting for Recruit, I'm scared the Blackbeard remaster is just he doesn't have the movement penalty anymore. I actually think it could just be that. And the issue, I do actually think that the attacking Recruit is going to be insanely strong and probably better than most of the attackers because you can bring flashbangs and nades. You can clear utility, and you can just straight up destroy utility while having a good gun. Also, they have a secondary shotgun, so they can make vertical holes as well. So you're literally losing nothing when you bring the attacking recruit. Also, like people were talking about when they first kind of teased the operator, you can bring secondary EMPs and a secondary hard breach gadget at the same time. So you can literally just open a hatch all by yourself. You bring 2 EMPs and secondary hard breach gadgets. So that just makes Habana a whole lot worse. You can also just open a wall by yourself. So if you just want to not bring a thermite, you can do that now. And I am one of the people in this game that think that Ubisoft should try to balance everything, because I think balance is more fun than just having like an OG line, for example. And while an overpowered operator can be fun to play with, especially in the first season, I find it more fun to have a more variety when it comes to operators, because back when Grim first released, there was really no reason to play him, because number 1, his gadget was clunky, and 2, Capito was just better in every single way. Now, Ubisoft did an amazing job buffing Grim because, again, they just buffed Grim without nerfing Capito like they do sometimes. But how do you balance 2 secondary gadgets at the same time without just straight up reworking Recruit? The only thing I can think of is if you have a certain secondary gadget, you can't bring another certain one. So, like, if you bring flashbangs, you can't bring nades as well. Or if you have a secondary EMP, you can't bring hard breaches. You have to bring one of the other ones. That's the only thing I can think of, but I don't think the current Recruit that we're supposed to get in Season 2 should come into the game. Now, that's my main complaint, because I always wanted Recruit to be in range, because, again, I like variety when it comes to operators. But another major issue with this season is that there's pretty much nothing else. Another thing about Deadly Omen is that at the beginning of the season, we had an amazing start when it comes to balancing. For starters, the 1.5 was just completely removed, and I know some people didn't like that. However, that site in general just did not fit the game. The thing about Old Siege is you either had a 2.5, or I'm pretty sure it was a 3 times at that point, like with the original ACOG, and you had the 1x sites. You had to choose one or the other, but with the 1.5, you literally got both. Nowadays, we're kind of back to Old Siege in terms of how the sites work, because you either have 1x sites, or in this case, a 2.5. You had to either choose close range or long range. There was no middle ground. And at the same time, they buffed the 1x sites to give a slight ADS increase while nerfing overall ADS to give you a bit encouragement to run the 1x sites. They also added the horizontal grip, which is a very fun grip to use. Vertical grip is still the same, but the angle grip is a bit more viable, especially to DMRs. And so for the main balancing points of this season is number 1, Fammer lost one of his mines, so now he only has 4, and lost one of his node activations, so he can only activate 2 at the same time. Also, when they are deactivated, they are no longer bulletproof, which is overall a pretty good change. And Solus, thank God, finally got nerfed. She can no longer activate her gadget during the preparation phase. They decrease the radius of where you can detect gadgets, and it deactivates quicker. And don't get me wrong, nerfing these operators are great. Solus especially needed a nerf, and I know people didn't really like Fenrir, so finally getting these operators to a more balanced level is great. But that's it. That's pretty much the main balancing points for the season. Also, I just found out, and for some reason they didn't talk about it in the reveal panel, barbed wire can now deal 5 damage if you just move in it, but if you stand still, you'll be fine. I don't know why they didn't talk about this, because I feel like that would be kind of a major thing, especially to kind of a popular secondary gadget like barbed wire, but I don't see it affecting all that much. Yeah, it's a good buff, but that's still like 3 things to look forward to. And the last main talking point is that Stadium Bravo finally got a rework, but it's only for casual and standard. It's not even coming to rank. The main thing they did to this map is finally removing the bulletproof glass in the main areas, at or around the site, which is good. That's what they needed to do with Stadium Bravo, but they're only doing it for casual or quick match and standard. But at the same time, we're also getting a Stadium Alpha, which was the 2020 Stadium that we got during the SI event, which is cool, and it's getting the same treatment, but at the same time, it's still not in ranked. The main issue that people had with the house rework and Favela is that it was only for casual. I don't see the point of adding a casual rework, or, I guess this would count as a casual rework too, like house, but for Stadium in particular, this seems like more of a competitive change, but they're not adding it into competitive. And the thing is, I do think this map would be pretty decent for ranked now. The only thing I would change personally is just remove the metal floors, but that's a personal preference. Now, I just spent nearly 6 minutes complaining about why this season sucks, and now I want to try to be more positive because I like trying to be positive. And there are a few things that are nice that are coming in this season. Number one, apparently there is a new option that you can turn on to where when you get flashed by a flashbang, your screen will be black instead of white. Number two, apparently the AK on Deimos and Nomad is getting a vertical grip. Now, I only saw this on Pox and Locks gameplay. I don't remember them talking about this either, but that looks like a vertical grip, and I absolutely hate the AK, so if we can actually put grips on the AK now, I'm in heaven. And the last thing, obviously the marketplace is coming in the season. I believe it's not coming at the launch, it's going to come a week later. I'm not entirely sure about that. It might be a week or two, but it is coming this season, and I'm looking forward to that. It is very sad that the only real thing I'm looking forward to this season is the ability to buy skins, but it is what it is. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about. It is very disappointing to see how good Daily Omen is and how bad New Blood looks. Hopefully Season 3 is better, and it also does come with a new operator that is apparently also getting a new weapon as well, so that's pretty exciting. But with all that, I hope you have a good day or good night, and goodbye.